Hey, surprise, we're live. We're trying something a little different today. We are broadcasting on YouTube and my Facebook account and on LinkedIn. How about that? Today I have Walt with me. How you doing, Walt?
Pretty good. How you doing?
I'm doing okay. You had a pandemic vaccine yesterday, right? How's that
Oh,
going?
today, yeah, I
What
got
was
my
today?
yeah, I got my anti Backstreet Boys reunion tour shot today. So,
It's good. And what's the verdict so far?
let's see. Shot number one, it just made me really tired today. So, I hear some people the first shot made them tired, and I got the Moderna version.
Right.
So I've heard that the first shot made people like really drowsy and just
Oh,
kind of for the day, and
yeah.
then the second shot like really wiped them out with flu-like symptoms or whatever for a day. So I'm
I've
looking
heard that.
forward. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that second shot. So, uh, but
Big fun.
other than that, yeah, my arm is going to bruise like I normally do with flu shot or any kind of other shot. So
Right.
no big
All right.
no big whoop.
What I wanted to do on this is just take a story and get right into the story and go through it and talk about it for a minute. And so I'm going to bring that up and then start talking about the story. And I know that both of us are pretty excited about the new Mortal Kombat movie that's coming up. And this was like a major, an interview with the producer and the director. And one of the things the producer says is they were talking about why do you need another Mortal Kombat movie? We had that 25 years ago. And
Right.
the producer of it says that movie was so steeped in the times of the 90s during a recent press event. He said superhero movies, comic book movies, and martial arts movies evolved. Martial arts movies in general were very tongue in cheek. Movies like Rush Hour, I think, set a tone where it had a comedic bent to it. I think we've evolved from there. I mean, definitely we've evolved
Oh,
from Rush Hour. you
yeah.
know, he said, I look at movies like Mad Max, Fury Road, I look at John Wick or Deadpool. I look at those movies, and even though they have like a slyness to them and a wit and humor that's born out of grounded characters and circumstances, they're not swinging for the joke. They're not swinging for the wink. And so we knew that that was the tone that we were going to stay away from and make this its own thing. So, I mean, that's one thing that they're talking about it being different this time around. Uh, in preparation to make the adaptation, they said McQuoid, who is the director on this, told his team to imagine Mortal Kombat as a series of novels rather than video games. Quote, as soon as you visualize it as a book, you go, oh boy, this really matters. He said, this is really detailed and rich. So I stylistically wanted to not come from the films or come from the game, even though it's probably more stylistically from the game than it is from the first film. Finally, he says, that's another place that they're talking about the difference between the first movie and this movie. He says that's another place this version of the movie will stand apart from the original. It's going to be rated R. How about that? That's good news.
That's
There's
very good news.
Yeah, exactly. He said there's buckets of blood and there's some crazy stuff that happens in this movie. We did everything we wanted. Pretty good news, right? And they said, well, maybe not everything. Garner and McQuoid both said that this version of Mortal Kombat was made to stand alone and satisfy both hardcore fans of the game and people who have never even heard of it. But that doesn't mean there couldn't be more, maybe even a lot more. And finally, he wraps up. He says, our goal and our prayer is that this movie does well enough and we set it up enough and is satisfying enough for both the fans and people who didn't know anything about Mortal Kombat, that they're going to allow us at some point to sit with creators, the two creators, and Warner Brothers exec and put a big whiteboard up like Kevin Feige did and map out the universe, map out years and years of this. So that's their plan. What do you think about that, Walt? What does all that say to you?
That is really cool. Mainly because with mapping out a universe, of Mortal Kombat, especially if you go back and you look at the history of the Mortal Kombat game itself, and the different iterations of the game, specifically, and I'm gonna drop this in there. Specifically, the Mortal Kombat DC Universe crossover video games. Not to mention the latest version of the game. You can get extra characters like Rambo, Terminator, RoboCop, because they've crossed Mortal Kombat over among different games,
like Fortnite.
Right, and if you know the lore of the video game, all the characters are from different worlds in different universes, so you could map this out. You know, it's a multiverse story, so you could really map this out as far as you want it to go, and characters can die, but again, multiverse. You can bring the same character back from a different universe or whatnot with a different total attitude. So I love this idea.
I think that you brought up something really important, which is that multiverse aspect, which we're definitely seeing in the DCEU. We're definitely seeing it in the Marvel universe. And they have, within their own continuity, they have welcomed these other characters to the game and stuff. I mean, I don't know if you're going to,
I doubt you're going to get, I doubt you get Rambo or you might get RoboCop in there, but I doubt you get Rambo or.
There are definitely some properties out there, kind of some independent type stuff that they might be able to rope into this. But I am really excited about several things that we heard. Number one is rated R. I think that's wonderful. I mean,
because we really did miss the fatalities from the first two movies.
Yeah.
I mean, the movies were fun, but the fatalities weren't in there.
Yeah. And, whatever, the language and stuff. I mean, look, thank God that we had John Wick and Deadpool, which cleared the way, because, I mean, for 10 or 15 years, we heard if it's a rated R movie, you can't make any money off of it.
Exactly.
We heard that over and over again. And, I knew that wasn't true.
Because we had RoboCop. Remember, RoboCop was an R-rated movie, and remember the blood and
Aliens was a rated R movie.
Aliens was too. Yeah.
It's like Hollywood forgets things, it's like they have a 2-year memory of stuff. And if they haven't had a hit on something in 2 years, they're like, oh, well, there's no audience for that.
Right.
There's an audience for anything, literally anything. And if it's done well.
Yeah. And the whole thing that superheroes are for kids is like, well, us, since, we're the Gen X, we're Gen X, and there were so many things that we wanted to see that done right. Like, for instance, we're the G.I. Joe Transformers generation, and I remember the first time watching the G.I. Joe cartoon, and I thought it was great, but then I read the comic book and I was like, oh my God, that's a headshot. And I'm like, why can't the cartoon be like this comic book? So I
watched a documentary last night on this subject. It was the toys that made us, I think.
Yeah,
and
I love that show.
Talking about how how they created G.I. Joe, and how the comic that was written by Larry Hama was pretty serious.
Yeah.
And how obviously the cartoon stuff that ran on regular television was not quite as
right. And
people were jumping out of planes with their parachutes and that sort of thing.
Another interesting thing about that is that G.I. Joe is actually Larry Hama's story is actually a story he had created for Marvel and Nick Fury Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It's actually the original Nick Fury Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. story. So so it's very cool. So it's this whole getting back to the Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
I mean, me personally, I'm not the type of person who likes to see a lot of gore or whatever in movies, but Mortal Kombat was one of those stories where it's appropriate for that story
That's
And if
part of it.
it's part of it. If it's not in there, then it's not the story. So
Yeah.
I'm really excited that they're really going to incorporate that into the story
Well,
now.
if you've seen the trailer, you know that
I've
that's what we're getting.
I've seen the Red Band trailer. Yes, I have.
Yeah. So it's coming. I think that people who enjoyed kind of the campiness and stuff of the original also will probably appreciate this maybe a little bit more serious take on this subject. And I think one of the most important thing that this director said is that he's looking. I hope he's not looking too much at this. I always say make a great first movie. Don't be
Right.
thinking about the 5 movies that are supposed to be coming after it.
Right.
But I think that if they are thinking about the big picture here and the potential for this to be a bigger franchise or something, maybe, whatever. Having, I mean, he specifically mentioned he would like a WandaVision style television series in another part of this interview. So that they're thinking big on this thing. Hopefully it's not going to be a one and done thing. But
Yeah,
yeah, that's
I can
exciting.
see several little series of the individual characters.
Yeah,
Like even as like prequels or even sequels or in between. I see that. I can see that because they're throwing from what I've seen in the trailer, they're throwing everybody in there, and everybody who's ever played the game, everybody has their favorite
everyone has a
character
favorite.
or favorite characters.
Sure.
And I'm not really big on the game, but I do have my favorite characters in the game.
Yeah,
And and there's some then in there that are villains that I really like, and then there's the heroes in there that I really like. So
yeah,
I'm really excited to see. I know everybody's really excited to see Jax and how he gets his bionic arms and all that stuff.
right.
Uh, and everybody wants to see oh crap, what's his Sub-Zero and Scorpion. That's
Yeah,
a big rivalry thing. So
right.
everybody wants to see that, and I could go on and on and on, but expanding that universe, if it works out and they do it really good, I can see them doing a crossover movie, Injustice.
Yeah,
So,
sure.
if you're a video gamer and if you've ever seen the video game Injustice, just take Mortal Kombat, but put the DC Comics superheroes and villains in there,
Right.
and there you go. So, I'm really excited. This looks like it could be a win for Warner Brothers. Finally, a big, huge win for Warner Brothers.
Yeah. And you just mentioned it. Since it's a Warner Brothers property, the DC stuff, since they're just dying to cross over anything they can or make some use out of those DC characters. Uh, maybe they pull someone in. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, since they really want to go the dark and gritty line with their DC superheroes,
They're leaning into it, no
uh,
doubt.
they just need to do Injustice, and
It,
then that would be a perfect crossover
it's
for
not
Mortal
out
Kombat.
of the realm of possibility,
Yeah, I
according to
mean,
what they're talking about here.
because everybody, there's these people who are Zack Snyder fans, and that's coming up this weekend,
Yeah,
and I've always said, if you really want to do the bread and butter characters as dark, really dark and gritty, all Batman like or whatever, just do Injustice, and you can do Injustice, and you can satisfy that group of people, and then now there's Mortal Kombat. Let's do that crossover movie. I would love to see that crossover movie to get that over, get that out there. So
yeah. Well, look, they're thinking big. There's no doubt about it. I want to mention that it's going to be coming to theaters and HBO, the Mortal Kombat movie, on April 16th. We're about a month, almost exactly a month away from it right now.
well, there's the big movies coming out, like you said, like within the next few months, and this is one of those movies where I will gladly put on my mask, and walk into the movie theater.
You want to see it in the theater?
I want to see it in the theater. I will do it. I will go see this movie in the theater. And then after I see it in the theater, I will come home and watch it again on HBO Max.
Yeah, you can watch it as many. That's a crazy.
And then just watch it as many times as I want. And then
that is a crazy thing, that you can actually see it back at home immediately.
I mean, I've got my list of movies, and lucky for Warner Brothers, they're mostly Warner Brothers movies. So, Godzilla's on that list, and, Mortal Kombat, Godzilla, those movies. I will be seeing those movies in the theater. So Mortal Kombat will be one of those I'm excited to see. I mean, like I said, I'm not a huge fan of movies with a lot of gore in them, but it's Mortal Kombat. So, and it goes with
DNA there.
It's part of the game. So, so I'm pretty sure that I'll probably be like, there'll probably be a lot of people more than normal during this Backstreet Boys reunion tour season again. There'll probably be more than normal of the new normal in the movie theater, and I'm pretty sure there'll be a lot of ooh and eye covering, because I do that when in these types of movies, but then laugh afterwards. So I'm excited. Like I said, I'm excited to see it, and I'm really glad that they're getting it out the way that we all wanted to see it in the first place. So
I think so. Yeah. Everything that I hear on that sounds like that they're on the right page.
Yeah. Sure. And going back to the whole martial arts thing, in the original, the martial arts were, what do you call it? Passable. It was passable. Yeah. You had a few.
They had Christopher Lambert.
They had Chris. I'm a fan of Christopher. I'm a fan of Christopher Lambert.
Not a martial artist,
but
I am too.
They could have done better.
I think we're going to get the real thing this time.
I think we're going to get the real thing here too, and I have to thank the Wachowskis.
Yeah.
With Matrix for making everybody see that you don't have to hold back with the martial arts. Specifically taking some actors that had very little to no background in martial arts and making them look really good.
Yeah.
Really good at it.
Yeah.
And so I can't wait to see, and that's basically why I want to see Mortal Kombat, because I want to see really good martial arts scenes. I really do love seeing really good martial arts fight scenes.
The bar in the last 20 years, the bar has been raised considerably.
Big time.
They're not going to be able to get away with chumpy stuff because there's way too much out there that they're competing with. People are far more sophisticated now than they were, even 5 or 10 years ago, to be honest.
Right. I get, because I mean, really, like we were talking about, like, to bring that up as far as like the martial arts scenes and everything, and you'll probably laugh when I bring this up, but the last few Fast and Furious movies, what's his name, Ludacris had been complaining about, because the last Fast and Furious movie, he had a small fight scene.
Right.
And we find out, in an interview, he goes, yeah, I've been practicing. I forgot what practice he's been doing. He says, I've been doing this. He goes, I've been practicing this martial art for like 9 years. He goes, and I've been wanting to show off my skills for a long time. So, and we see that scene, and everybody's like, hang on a second.
Where did this come from?
Where did this come from? So, but yeah, I mean, the bar is set high for that.
It is. People are far more sophisticated now than they were, and effects are better. So yeah, they're going to have to bring it. But from this, I'm even more excited. I mean, I was pretty excited when I saw the trailer, but all of the stuff that they're talking about here certainly lends another element to it, which I think is very exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, I really want to see these characters more fleshed out from the original movies. You really didn't get it was just more like, there they are, and they're going through this story, and then, okay, the movie's over. And then the sequel was just so rushed.
Yeah.
So,
hey, we got someone at the last minute here. Oh, Steve says, hello, gents.
hey, Steve, what's up?
Yeah, surprise. We're doing a live broadcast. We're almost through with this here. I'm about to wrap it up. I appreciate you joining. You could watch the replay, Steve. This was just an opportunity for us to, maybe grab one topic and talk about it. And I think we did a pretty good job. I wanted to keep it to about 20 minutes, and we're right at that right now. So in any case, Walt, thanks for joining me on this subject.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
And thanks to everyone who's been watching us. And we sure do. Hey, good talk. Yeah. Thanks everyone who watched this. And we may be sneaking in here several times during the week and covering a story. And if you see some sort of story or whatever that you think we should cover, get in touch with me right there. You can see my email address, taskforcegeek@gmail.com. Tell us to cover it. I'll grab Walt or someone, or maybe several someones, and do a quick story on it.
Dirk might grab you.
I might grab Steve.
Yeah, you might. Whoever sends the question, he might grab you to talk about it. So
I might. It could happen. I mean, these are very informal. These are very informal. All right. Hey, thanks, Walt. Thanks for watching us. Until next time, dream hard.